Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to Pesterquest. So, this is gonna be a little cringe, but I'm still in the Homestuck fandom, and I really enjoy cosplaying them. So, um, I've actually had this game in my thing for a while, but I'm just now being able to play it. So, let's just get into it, I guess. Um, I'm really excited. Okay. Okay. I love me some Jake. Hmm. This is a hard one because I am a Gemini, so I would probably go with this one. Wait, volumes. Okay. Never mind. Oh, I thought that was choosing uh one thing, and I can't think of what they're called, like profile photo things. Okay. So we're just gonna start with one and just go from the very beginning. Yeah. But I'd so choose Jake. Super loud in my ears. It's been a long time coming. You click the last page of the Homestuck epilogues. You read it, you read it again. You scroll down to go to the next section to find nothing. The little blue arrow you crave is nowhere to be found. What the fuck? Are you serious? What kind of ending was that? Absolutely nothing got resolved. You stand up so fast your chair falls over. Jesus Christ, you are steamed. Maybe eventually, with further thought, you'll come to appreciate the thematic elements and contributions to narrative convention, but as of right now, you need to understand. What happened to John? What happened to Rose and Kanaya in their marriage? What about Terezi and Vriska? God, you have Hold on. God, you have to have words with someone. Stomping onto the little computer room, you blink a few times, trying to readjust to the dim parlor after staring at a screen for so long. Doc Scratch? Where is that creepy. Hold on. Doc Scratch? Where is that creepy round motherfucker? Sure, you got his number now. You know all about how he ruined the lives of 8 human kids and 12 trolls, how he played everybody, including you. At the very least, he owes you a satisfying conclusion to this story. You march confidently down the hall in the direction of a sudden ruckus. Turning the corner, you see 2 figures. One is definitely Doc Scratch. The other is a dark silhouette of a fashionable hat and coat. While you watch, the latter begins to hit the former with a cane. Oh, god damn it. You know what's happening. You know some lore. You need to get out of here before this place goes up in flames. Survive now. Yell about unsatisfactory narratives later. With that in mind, you leave behind this ridiculous altercation, trampling a pile of notes and photographs underfoot as you make run for the fenestrated wall. See ya, suckers. You sail through feet first, bracing for the smell of overturned earth and the sight of the twin Alternian moons. Man, it's going to be good to see your friends again, especially now that you're armed with all of this canon knowledge. But but what surrounds you is not Fawzer's corpse field. It's a whole lot of nothing. Are you lost between worlds or something? No, wait, you see a glimmer in the distance, a bright white light. Swallowing down the surge of panic, you move towards it. A light coalesces with the form of a small symbolic house. Hey, you recognize this house. You wonder if you can just sort of, oh, okay, well, you did that. A barrage of images. Yeah, we'll see. A barrage of images hits you, broken, chaotic flashes too fractured to make any sense of. You just stuck your hand into the most powerful item in the whole of this narrative, and your body is not taking it well. Bright, sizzling pain hits the nerve center of your brain and radiates out of your extremities. Wow, you aren't a moron. You aren't a comic character. You aren't meant for this sort of... I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. Well, actually, metatextual energy? It hurts, it burns, it unrails you from the inside and out, and then everything goes white. What a... I'm so excited. I cannot express how excited I am for this. This is, in a sense, a little bit of like a comfort series, not really series, but like a comfort series fandom type, in a sense, besides the fact of how toxic this fandom really is. It's kind of a comfort. So now that I get to play and be around my comfort characters, I am so happy. Okay. Whew. I can't do voices, so I hope there's voices on this. What a lovely morning. The air is fresh and crisp. It's early spring. Probably. You find yourself on the sidewalk in a suburban neighborhood, facing a neat, friendly house. A neat, friendly boy stands in the window on the second floor looking down at you. At least you hope he's friendly. Wait, what's this? Oh, ooh. Okay. Man, you would really love to be his friend. Actually, I'll take Jake. At first you think the boy is looking at you, but instead he appears to be looking at the mailbox, which is stuffed so full that the door is half open. Looks like someone crammed a whole box in there. Hopefully, you pull it out along with a couple of coupons and envelopes stamped with a green symbol. You go to give the boy a thumbs up, but he's no longer at the window. Memory prickles at the corners of your awareness. You feel like you've maybe done this before? While you're standing there ruminating, a car pulls up. The driver is wearing a hat and a suit, and it's probably the owner of this home and the father of that friendly boy. Oh shit, you're just standing here with all his mail. He's gonna think you're trying to rob the place. Play it cool. We'll play it cool. Not wanting to behave like a complete buffoon, you draw attention to yourself. You just hide all the mail behind... You hide all the mail stuff behind your back. There's a bunch of envelopes, though, and a box is bulky. All of it sort of slithers from your grasp like a bunch of dead snakes. The distinguished man in his flawless suit looks at you from across the yard. You can't see his eyes under the brim of his hat, but you are absolutely sure he's giving you an intense fatherly disapproval. A bolt of shame goes through you. Wow, this guy is good. He's not even your dad, and you're just losing it under his disapproval. You expect him to start shouting or calling the cops. You are so obviously stealing his mail, but instead he just keeps looking at you. Does he know you? Is he someone you should remember, or is it just the platonic ideal of dadliness that crosses time and space, eternal in all iterations of reality? That sounds like some bullshit, though. Slowly, the distinguished man shakes his head. He goes inside. You can't quite put your finger on why, but you know you have been summarily dismissed? Stern fatherly disapproval. Oh no. Start. Okay. On the advice of your new friend John, you go to visit one of his close comrades. Close only figuratively speaking, since it seems she lives all the way on the other side of the country. That's no problem for you, though, since your new powers let you hop anywhere, anytime, even to places that don't exist. Well, you think your powers let you do that? You just have this distant, metatextual feeling that you could pretty much go anywhere at this point. You know that doesn't make any sense. Why did the music stop? There's nothing that doesn't make sense about friendship, though, and that's exactly what you're about to do. Friendship, that is. You're about to do some friendship by making a new friend. Her name is, you check your notes? Rose. This is her house, apparently. It looks kind of weird and modern, but it's situated in the middle of the woods for no good reason you can think. Also, it's pouring rain, which is not what you would describe as ideal friendly making conditions. Still, nothing stops. Okay, sorry. Still, nothing stops a mailman, not from delivering mail nor making friends. Rather famously, rain and other similar weather patterns provide no deterrent to the performance of his duty. And there's no duty more important than friendship. Rose, she's so pretty. Suddenly a woodland girl approaches. Who goes there? Oh, it's your new friend, Rose, obviously. There's literally no one else this could be. You introduce yourself. You are the cool mailman who John told her to expect a visit from soon. You would greet you would greet you would doff your mailman hat to signal a friendly greeting, except recently you accidentally dropped it into a sewer along with your other mail specific clothes, as well as all the mail you were supposed to deliver. As you explained to her gratuitously in an unconvincing manner. It's not a great start, you admit, but you've done much worse. Oh, I thought there was to be voice volume. Okay. Oh, yeah, by the way, I will put a warning before game even starts, but there's flashing lights, so you're not. Oh, I just read her name. I'm sorry. After being in the Homestuck fandom for years, I just read what her name was. Okay. You are not a mailman. Yikes, you are busted almost immediately. You briefly consider whether you should double down on the lie and try to say something mailman-like, or whatever the right call is to come clean, since she's clearly too smart for this amateur bullshit. But it's but it's like but it's taking a few seconds too long for you to decide, which looks guilty as hell. That's it. The jig is up. You slouch in defeat. You ask her if she would please consider not telling John. Your heart couldn't take it if you found out your entire friendship was based on a lie. You want me to keep a secret from one of my best friends to protect the feelings of a random buffoon who I've never met, with arbitrarily showed up to my house in a remote wilderness like a creep. Yes? I feel like the right answer to say is no. Man, you guessed today is the day where you get owned by teens. She is totally right. What are you doing just wandering up to her house without even calling first? It's just totally disrespectful of her time. No need to self-flagellate. It was a simple suggestion critically to more critically examine your motivations and actions in the future. No, she's right. You're going. You zap away, aiming for a spot half a mile away into the woods where you can become properly soaked and miserable. But instead of trees, you find yourself standing in front of a bank of computers. Shit, you misfired. 13. Wait, you remember seeing a big structure off in the distance when you were in front of Rosa's house. You figured it was just some sort of office building, but it looks more like a factory or a secret research lab. The computers show coordinates on a screen that don't mean anything to you. The countdown clock is frozen on 4:13. All of this has the trappings of a cable AU or something. Someone set up for you to see. Turning away from the screens, you wander down a long line of gleaming science fiction equipment. It reminds you of pictures of old computers from the 1950s, the ones that took up entire rooms. You bet you could go back and visit some of those if you zapped hard enough. You wander through a whole maze of halls and wide echoing rooms that aren't pictured because our art budget is only so big, and it takes a certain arity, I think, certainty that that they are all very mysterious. I promise, I can read, just not out loud. Eventually, you circle back to that strange bank of screens. Nervously, you hit a few keys, tap a few fingers against the readouts. Nothing. It's all locked down. You think that if you could only get these screens to unlock, you could unravel the secrets to life, the universe, and everything. Or maybe it's your memories you were trying to unlock. Maybe then you'll understand the seething waters of this endless ocean of time and space intertwining into the meow. Meow? Meow. Rose's mother? It's gotta be Rose's mom. You turn around expecting a cat, but you don't get a cat. A very adorable black kitten. Oh, and you do get a cat. A very adorable black kitten, tiny and soft, with far more eyes than a cat should have. Aww. But the cat isn't the only thing here. A woman in a sleek white lab coat, sensible heels, and sensible heels holds the cat, pinning you in the spot with her gaze, or at least you assume she is. Her hair is in her eyes and the light is behind her. So all you can see is of her face are her painted lips. Sorry, ma'am. You absolutely didn't mean to trespass in her secret science lab, and you actually aren't even lying. You really did just fuck up this time. The lady puts the cat down slowly, where it rolls on its back and bats a paw playfully in the air. Nah, cats are great, even mutant cats. Maybe, especially mutant cats. This little guy should have a name. You think you'll name him Cryptid McWhiskers? Yeah, Cryptid McWhiskers is a great name. In fact, you can't imagine anyone naming this cat anything else. You hold out a hand to Cryptid McWhiskers and wiggle your fingers. It rolls back onto its feet and saunters over to you. It is as soft and fluffy as it looks, and its 4 eyes blink at you with utter trust. At least this kitty will be your friend. The ominous clack of heels on cement reminds you that you and Cryptid McWhiskers are not alone. While you are busy with the kitty cat, the very intimidating and well-coiffed lady has walked over to the bank of screens. She presses a button and it must have some sort of fingerprint recognition or retinal scanning. Or maybe she's just better at things than you are, because it works for her. On the floor, a few feet from you, is a round gray protrusion. A platform on the floor. You saw it earlier, but you had no idea what it was for, so you just ignored it. What you don't understand can't hurt you, right? You think that's probably right. The intimidating lady presses a button on the screen, mouth turning up at the corners. A flash and a pop, like the pressure in the room changes. You can feel it in your eardrums. A pumpkin appears on the round gray platform. Fuck. You aren't really sure what she's trying to say here. Making a pumpkin appear on a thin air is impressive. It probably would have been more so if you hadn't been popping in and out of existence all day. It's going to take more than a pumpkin to impress you. Pumpkin? What pumpkin? The lady shakes her head and hits another button. The pumpkin vanishes, and in its place is a tiger. Yes. Yes, you heard that right. A whole-ass tiger. Orange and black, big teeth and big paws. For a second or two, you just look at each other honestly. The tiger might be more shocked than you are. Kinda sucks to think about. One second you're just chilling on the savannah, mauling antelopes and drinking the water hole. And the next you're in a secret lab in upstate New York staring down at a very unappetizing looking protagonist. Apparently, you are appetizing enough for it to want to get a taste, though, because it looks from you to Miss Krypton Whiskers and back again. Then it charges. You try to book it out of there. The lady in the lab coat looms in front of you. She's saying something. You strain to hear her. The tiger is right behind you. The lady or the tiger? At the last minute, you remember you have magic powers and you choose the third option. Teleporting the fuck out of there. Not again. You just zapped into yet another unknown building, although from the view out the window, you think you might be in Rose's house. Also, the fact that Rose turns the corner in the hallway and stops short, still in her rain gear. Her eyes are very wide. You wave awkwardly. She snaps out of it. That snaps her out of it. She stands up straight, sliding easily from shock to support. Support? You thought you'd just let yourself in? After wasting my time mumbling about the mail, a gaudy display of manipulation, self-reclamation, and then popping out of existence to leave me asking myself if I'd finally lost my mind. You hadn't meant to do any of that, especially not the last part. She isn't losing her mind unless both of you are losing your minds together. Rose looks you over. Finally, she seems to decide that you are for real. Your predilections towards mailman mimicry were all that John told me about. Oh? He also said that you had certain powers? Powers of teleportation and time travel. I told him that he must be mistaken since it's a well-known and accepted fact that magic, although a popular and highly engaging subject of fiction, is fake as hell. Oh, your zappy powers? No, those are totally real and not fake. Real in a different way than you being a mailman is real, since that is actually made up. She still has her umbrella open. Hey, doesn't she know that's bad luck? Luck is also fake as hell. You say you can do magic? Prove it. She just saw you vanish out in her front yard. Like I said, I could be losing my mind. She could be losing it now, at this very minute, but you see no point in arguing. You hold out a hand, and after a moment of hesitation, Rose puts her fingers in yours. Her nails are long and sharp, and painted a glossy black. She closes her eyes, and her umbrella droops. Should I picture my room or something similar? I'm not quite sure how this is supposed to look. She still thinks you're fucking with her. You tell her that you guess you can do that if she wants. Zap. When you open your eyes, you find yourself in a large, messy bedroom. Oh? She drops her umbrella. You really did that. Her boots track muddy prints onto the thick carpet. Surprise! You really are magic. Rose puts a small hand against her perfectly painted black lips. She seems momentarily lost for words, and you get a feeling that isn't a thing that happens very often. Her eyes are wide and deeply purple. They're sparkling, you might even say. Hold on. I'll be right back. Stay here. Don't go out into the hall. It's not safe. You tell Rose to take her time. You're happy to just stand here dripping onto her nice clean floor. She leaves the room and you take the opportunity to examine your surroundings a little more clearly. The bed is unmade, books are strewn over the floor carelessly, and the collection of half-drunk cups and coffee crowd the desk. Half-finished knitting projects lie in the soft pile all over the room. In fact, there are a lot of evidence that this room is often occupied by someone with a lot of interest who has trouble settling down and putting her attention on one thing at a time. Yeah. Man, you relate. Not with the interest, but with friends. You can't imagine settling for just one. Rose has a number of posters on her wall, although nowhere near as many as your friend John. A calendar hangs beside the window, days ticked off with little X's all the way up to 4/13, which is circled. You step closer and read the year date up on the corner, 2009. But what the hell do you care about the date? You can make friends any day of the damn week, rain or shine, night or day. Rose sure is taking a while out there. She told you that it wasn't safe out in the hall. Maybe she hadn't just been quipping? Maybe she's actually in trouble. What should you do? Stay put? We'll wait on her? She's back, okay. Your patience pays off almost at once. Rose is back and looking significantly more put together. Also, she brought you a towel. Here. I'm not overly attached to anything in here. It's mostly just childish nonsense I haven't yet bothered to rid myself of, but I'd appreciate it if you tried not to drip on any of the notebooks. She has changed out of her raincoat and boots, and she's dressed in a neat black skirt with a white shirt with a purple blob. What is it with kids and their blob shirts? Now that's dealt with, please sit down. She crosses her legs and you suddenly feel like you're at a job interview. Friend interview. You wish you were a little less damp. Actually, let's switch places. You're still pretty wet. You don't want to get her bedspread messed up. Don't worry about it. That's what washing machines are for. Now, let's talk about magic. Which up until now I have always taken for granted as something confined to storybooks. Rose takes a wistful look towards her bedroom window, grayed over and blurry with raindrops. You get the feeling that she's doing it for effect. Maybe that's why she wanted you to switch places with her. And then comes you, the not a mailman with a penchant for showing up and attempting to make friends with unwitting children. Well, fair, she's got you there, but honestly, she might be a child, but she really doesn't seem to be unwitty. On the controversy, she's really quite witty. I'm glad you noticed. She folds her hands and clears her throat. You think that if she had any notes, she would be shuffling them. And so, the question remains, are you a good witch or a bad witch, or are you a wizard? We've already established that you're not a public servant. Is there a difference between witch and wizard? Of course there is, but exactly how specific of a difference can vary. According to some works of fiction, a wizard is just a witch's male counterpart. But in certain mythologies, for instance, Arthurian legend, The difference appears to be class-based. Wizards reside at court and are classically trained, while witches are self-taught and run wild through the forests. I wouldn't deny those differences tend to often be gendered as well. You ask her which one she is, a witch or a wizard. Me? Rose, Rose shifts, uncrossing and recrossing her legs. You shrug and say she just seems to know a lot about them. I know a thing or two, but can I tell you a secret? Oh my God, Rose. She has no idea how much you would love to hear her secret. I find them wizards, I mean, utterly irrehensible. They disgust me, everything from their foppish robes to their grizzled beards. It's my mother who is wizard enthusiast in this house, although she glances from side to side, theatric- theatrically. Most of the things Rose does seems to be at least a little bit theatrical. She kneels on the carpet, bent beside a clutter of books. I don't show these to many people. Actually, I haven't showed them to anyone. Not even John? John seemed to be a pretty cool guy. Definitely a guy worth sharing a few secret notebooks with. Rose laughs. No, I haven't showed them to John. I've only shown Strider to punish him. You nod, pretending that you know who this Strider person is. You are a totally normal dude with an absolutely ungodly number of friends. A shadow moves through the center of you, a trembling moment of deja vu. You do have a lot of friends, don't you? That feels true, but the only people you know here are John and now Rose. Weird. You try to put it from your mind and listen to Rose again. She's still talking about this mysterious Strider, flipping through one of the journals too quickly for you to see anything specific. Only that it is full from cover to cover. As if my modest writings are the sole source of homoerotic tension in his life, when his brother is the one who insists on filling their home with assorted dick butt for the ironic purposes. Rose rolls her eyes. Oh boy, you missed the beginning of that. It probably made way more sense than it seemed like. Rose is searching through her notebook, checking markings on the spine that seemed to be some sort of cataloging system of arcane symbols. Oh, where is... Oh, right. She does something quick and complex with her fingers, and another notebook pops into existence and falls into her lap. You gape. She really is a wizard. What? It's just a Siladex. A child could use one. Here. This notebook has a couple drawings on it, but most of it is filled with small, neat handwriting and lavender ink. Is Rose writing a book? No, don't be silly. I'm writing 4 books at least. 5 depending on whatever I decide to flesh out. I'm not even going to try. Backstory. It isn't strictly necessary, but it does add to a certain amount of valuable character insight, which renders their actions in later volumes more sympathetic. Not that I need all my anti-heroes to be sympathetic, I'm just thinking of the literary reviewers would say. You nod. Smart. You would have never thought of what a literary reviewers would say. She is honestly pretty impressive for someone her age. Age has nothing to do with it. But don't get carried away. It's only a rough draft. You ask her if you can take a look. She hesitates, but you doubt she would have shown it to you if she didn't want you to look. What the hell? You can't trust a stranger's... You can't touch strange spherical imprint on you met outside in the rain. Who can you trust? Right? Your thoughts exactly. Rose hands you the notebook and you open it at random, letting fate guide your hands. Frigalish bothered his beard as if unthinking a hitch in a long silk wing Hawk, but a more pedestrian audience would harshly exhibit nervous compulsion behavior to petty. Just, okay. Nope. I will just keep going and let y'all pause it if you want to read. Because, yeah. Wow, this is pretty dense, but smart. You stroke your imaginary beard and pretend to ponder the deeper meaning. Yes, intriguing. Sapperpan and Frigolish, clearly there's some history here. Yes, clearly, but the two of them shared what's but what the two of them shared went beyond simple romance. That's why it has gone so spectacularly sour. Rose becomes increasingly more animated as she tells you about her gay wizard OCs. Eh, like she is far more interested in them than she is herself. They share an intellectual bond, a mutual dedication to knowledge and the preservation of such. The goal of the learned is to amaze their wisdom and keep it from general dissemination into the main populace of wizards. They feed it to their apprentices, it drips and drabbles. Of course, this will eventually lead to ruin. Of course, you flip further into the book, searching for the parts where it leads to ruin. Ruin sounds interesting. Again, I'm just gonna let it go. You flip through the notebook, checking out the drawings. There's a lot of wizards, each more bearded and venerable than the last. One of the pictures, the most recent, maybe since it's on the very last page of the journal, is of two young wizards, twins maybe? They have gray hair and are wearing slick green suits. They are standing back to back with their arms intertwined, staring into the middle distance. It's very anime. You compliment Rose on her autistic powers. Yes, thank you. They're alright. I'm a much better writer than I am an artist. You tell her you think she's really good, way better than you. You're absolutely positive she is going to be famous one day. I appreciate their encouragement, even though I know they're just trying to flatter me due to your strange thirst for affirmative experiences. John told me about that. Damn, busted, but you really think she's talented. It's fine. It's not as if my social calendar is overfull out here in the middle of the woods. Don't tell anyone I said that. I don't have many friends. No. You be quiet. Go sit down. And don't tell him I've been drawing. He'd be insufferable. He? Never mind. You assure Rose that her secrets are safe and hand back her journal. You are really excited about your new friend. You might not, if you might be so bold, and her wizard stories, though. What? Hadn't she said she hated wizards? What's your point? Well, you're no expert on wizards or Rose, but it seems like she actually does seem to like them because of her several notebooks full of wizard fiction. You aren't trying to get, like, real here, but maybe it's possible her mom isn't the only one in the family who likes wizards. Rose pulls her book out of your hand. That and the rest of the books vanish into thin air. Alright, it must have been that. What did she call it? Silodex? She doesn't look away, angry, exactly, but the lines around her mouth and eyes that softened as she talked about her book have hardened back up. Her eyes glitter menacingly. Oh, that's right. Food. Well, why don't you diagnose me? Oh, hey, well, you weren't trying to be condescending or whatever. Clearly. You were aware that it is a common psychological phenomenon for an individual to react to trauma by creating fictional representations of that which has caused them bodily harm or emotional dismay. To suggest that the portrayal of those fictional renderings somehow condones them or supports them is absolutely absurd. So what she's trying to say is she draws wizards to cope? Rose rises regally to her feet. The lightning turns her into an ethereal silhouette. What I'm saying is I don't need to justify my fictional predilections to you or to anyone else. No, she's totally right. You're sorry that you suggested that she might like wizards. It was horribly presumptuous and not at all the way a friend should act. You are so sorry. You promise that it will never happen again. No, I don't suppose it will. It's probably just because Rose's hair is such a pale blonde that it almost like she's glowing in the dim bedroom, like light behaves a little indifferently around her than it does everything else. Would you look at that? It appears the rain has lightened up a bit. The rain is hitting the window so loudly you're actually having trouble hearing her. And your point is, you can just zap yourself into where weather is drier. Fuck off. Aw. Go zap yourself. Aww. Okay, I'm not sure why it just skips around like that, but I am going to leave that here for now, and I'm kind of enjoying it, except for the part I'm having to read it all, because I'm not very good at reading aloud, if you could not tell through this whole video. But like I said, I'm really enjoying this game, and I really hope you all will enjoy it too. I know it's kind of an older fandom, but I am really liking it. So with that, I will see you all in the next one. Bye!
What's that?
Homestuck.
Homestuck?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.